Marcus Aurelius. Have you heard of him, Ian? What if I told you, Ian, that one of history's most powerful leaders kept a diary filled with anxiety, self doubt, and profound wisdom that still changes lives today? The personal writings of Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius weren't meant for anyone's eyes but his own.
That's such a fascinating perspective, Ian. These private thoughts that have now guided millions of readers across 2 millennia. It's like finding a CEO's private journal about imposter syndrome and leadership challenges.
And what makes it even more compelling is that he wrote these notes while running the largest empire in the world. Here's someone who could have anything he wanted, yet he's wrestling with the same human struggles we all face.
The way he approaches those struggles is efficient too, like his famous advice about dealing with difficult people, comparing it to being angry at a fig tree for producing figs.
You know what's interesting, Ian? Modern psychology has validated many of his insights. His ideas about how our thoughts shape our reality align perfectly with cognitive behavioral therapy, a connection that wasn't made until nearly 2,000 years after his death.
Hmm, Pappy. That reminds me of how he talks about mindfulness and staying present. He was essentially describing meditation techniques that are now backed by neuroscience.
And here's something wild, Ian. Studies have shown that practicing the kind of Stoic principles he wrote about can reduce anxiety and depression. There's this one passage where he talks about how we suffer more from our interpretation of events than from the events themselves.
Well, Pappy, that's exactly what modern therapists tell their clients. But how did he develop such psychological insight while managing an empire?
That's what makes this text so unique. You can see him working through these ideas in real time. Like there are passages where he's writing after a tough day of dealing with political intrigue or military challenges.
And instead of just venting or complaining, he's constantly trying to find the more profound lesson, right?
Oh man, right. And you know what's fascinating? He keeps coming back to this idea of interconnectedness. He had this incredibly sophisticated understanding of how everything in the universe is linked together way before we had systems thinking or ecological awareness.
That's such a crucial point about his relevance today. His insights about how individual actions affect the whole feel substantial in our globally connected world.
And speaking of relevance, let's talk about his views on leadership. Modern companies spend millions on executive coaching to teach the same principles he was writing about: leading by example, listening more than speaking, and maintaining composure under pressure.
Though I imagine it was a bit more challenging maintaining composure when you're dealing with barbarian invasions rather than quarterly reports.
Well, that's what makes his writing so powerful. You can feel the weight of those real world pressures in his words. He's not some philosopher sitting in an ivory tower. He's actively trying to apply these principles while facing life and death decisions.
The fact that these writings have survived and remained relevant for so long speaks to their universal value.
It does. And here's something that might surprise people. Studies of ancient manuscripts suggest that what we're reading is only a fraction of what he wrote. Imagine all the other wisdom that might have been lost to time.
That's incredible to think about, though maybe there's something perfect about having just these fragments, like we're getting these glimpses into his thought process.
You know what I find most inspiring? The way he emphasizes character over achievement. Here's one of the most accomplished people in history, essentially saying that none of his external success matters as much as being a good person. That's pretty countercultural, both then and now.
And that message feels particularly relevant in our social media age, where everyone's trying to project an image of perfect success.
Right on, Ian. And that brings us to perhaps his most important lesson, the reminder that even someone at the absolute peak of worldly success still struggles with the same fundamental human challenges we all face. There's something sincere and encouraging about that.
So, in the end, it's a guide for being human, Pappy. Whether you're an emperor or an ordinary person, the fundamental challenges of existence don't really change.
And maybe, Eon, that's why these private notes continue to resonate so deeply. They remind us that we're all works in progress, trying our best to figure it out as we go along.